All right, guys, it's another episode of the Fearless Pursuit of Freedom podcast. And today's guest is another high level entrepreneur in the real estate world here in the Dallas, Texas market. And he's gone from 1 to 100. And it seems like no time, breakneck speed. But I'd like to welcome you guys on the show. Justin.
Man, Brandon, glad to be here, brother. Thank you so much for having me, man.
No, I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, I've been watching you for quite some time. Um, Man, you're all over, doing all kinds of. You're in several masterminds, from what I can tell, and just going full speed, trying to learn it all.
Yeah, man. Masterminding, it's been something that, for me and just the company as a whole, being able to surround myself with the giants that we learn from. At the end of the day, I'm not coming in here trying to reinvent any wheel or anything like that, man. Everything that we're doing has already been done before. And, being on podcasts like this with individuals like yourself and trying to surround myself with those people that really, Brandon, aren't looking just for the mediocre life, man. They want more, that want to strive more, that every day are pushing to become the best they can be. It's been an absolute game changer for me to surround myself consistently with those people. And
Yep.
like you said, the results have been chaotic, crazy this year, and we're just trying to embrace the chaos, man, as much as we can as we keep finishing out the year 2018.
Yeah. No, from what I've seen, you're killing it. So I mean, you're doing it right. And same deal for me is, I don't post a lot of the meetings, but when everybody sees me traveling on Facebook, I'm going to nice locations, but 99% of those vacations have all been investor vacations. So behind the scenes, we're doing class after class after class and networking and meetings and all kinds of stuff. And that's been my number one goal this year, aside from trying to make it through the year and make a few bucks, but learning from people that have been in the industry for significantly longer than I, and trying to learn from their mistakes so I make less mistakes. But it's been a blast, 2018. Can't wait for 2019. It's going to be one wild adventure, to say the least. But so how long you been in it, man? From what I can tell, it's like an overnight success over there. But how long you been in it? How long you been learning, and what'd you do before it?
Yeah, man. I had to laugh at that because I've heard that before. And the thing is, Brandon, you know this just as well as anyone else that's an entrepreneur that's seeing success in what they're doing. An overnight success, from what other people may see, has a lot of struggles, a lot of sacrifices, has a lot of just difficulties that you have to overcome to get to that point where people are finally starting to see the success from all the hard work that you've put in up to that point. And so for me, I started kind of going back to the basics of where I grew up. I grew up in a little town called Aledo, Texas, just west of Fort Worth. Little rural town. Used to be a rural town. Now it's exploding. There's a subdivision coming in that's going to bring like 30,000 plus people. And, keep in mind, this is a town that had maximum, I think, 1,500 people population whenever I was going there in high school. So you can only imagine the explosiveness that's going on in this area, really any area outside of Dallas-Fort Worth that has land to be developed on.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, I grew up in Aledo, and, growing up, I was always your kid that was kind of a knucklehead, to be honest with you. I was the class clown. I was the dude that didn't pay much attention in school. Never, my parents, no one in my family ever went to college or anything like that. And, man, what really kind of put me on the path to where I am right now, it was my senior year. I was 18 years old, going into the summer of, I think that was 2009. And, man, I applied to 5 colleges. And I'll never forget the day when I got the rejection letters back from all 5 of them stating that I didn't get into a single one. And, it looking back on it now, it all had to do input. This is one of my favorite quotes, Brandon. Input equals output. And the input I put into school, it just wasn't there, man. Then my focus wasn't there, anything. I never had the really just have that next level. I didn't know about the SAT, the ACT, all the stuff and that school teaches you, man. And so that summer, I just remember distinctly all my buddies were getting accepted into colleges all across Texas. I mean, they had pretty much their futures lined out. And I'm sitting over here like, what in the heck am I going to do?
Yeah, right.
what is this going to look like for me? Like, is my whole life going to be like this, to where, you know, I'm just the funny guy in class and get along with people, but at the end of the day, can't really produce or do anything like that. And so that summer, man, I thought about it very, very hard. And through that, you know, I picked up a book, and you've heard this probably several times, and listeners have too, called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I've never written a book in my entire life. You know, in school, we probably had close to 50 books we were supposed to read. I don't think I read a single page, but I picked that book up. It was a recommendation from a buddy of mine. He said, man, just read this and see, you know, this is supposed to be one of the best books on the planet, most sold books in the personal development space. See if it can help you out. And man, reading that book, it gave me just total clarity and a mind shift change, to really get my life back on track. And so I told myself, you know, even though school has never been my strong suit, I'm going to change my habits. I'm going to change my mindset. I'm going to change my discipline. And I'm going to go to community college, and I am going to prove to myself, my family, my friends, and all my teachers in high school who thought that I wouldn't mount up to anything, that I could do it. Not because I think school is the path to success by any means, but because I wanted to prove to myself that that thing that I failed at my entire life, you know, I ultimately could be successful at if I just changed my habits and changed my overall way of thinking. And so I went down to a little junior college, man, outside of College Station, called Bloom.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I got to work. I changed everything. I changed the people I surrounded myself with. I read books constantly. I was reading blogs, jumping on every website I could just to become better at studying and organization and all that stuff. Things I never even dreamed of doing beforehand, especially in high school. And man, I went from that kid that graduated bottom 10% in his class to ultimately graduating summa cum laude at Texas A&M University, and being able to graduate with honors, and just change my entire life around, man. And from that point, you know, I had I grew up in a very middle class family, and so at Texas A&M, you know, it's not a super cheap school by any means, and so I had quite a bit of college debt. But at that time, you know, I knew that real estate, man, was going to be what I wanted to chase after. Like I said, that first book that I read, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it just opened my mind to really assets and liabilities, and the ability to be financially free through one of the most, the number one wealth generating machine on the planet, which is real estate, as you guys know. And man, I went to the oil field that first year, got my real estate license while I was out there in West Texas, working on a rig. And then, man, a year later, had all my debts paid off, and came back into the Dallas-Fort Worth market, man, and hit the ground running with real estate. You know, I started with one of the big wholesaling companies called New Western, and I was there for about 6 months. And, you know, it was a great place to learn just the game of everything and just kind of how everything worked. Didn't even know what wholesaling meant really until I joined that company, but was able to go there. And then, long story short, man, I established another wholesaling company after that, and got recruited by a organization called Open Door. That's a big startup company, for those that don't know, based out of San Francisco. And Dallas-Fort Worth, it was their second market. And so I was the, I think, second or third person that jumped on board and helped them establish that market, man. And from there, I was able to, during my time, I was able to underwrite tens of millions of dollars worth of properties, single-family residence homes. And I was able to value over 15,000 homes and really learn the market in that 2.5-year period, from someone who would need typically, you know, 10, 15, 20 years worth of experience from just the influx of properties that we were valuing and picking up in that organization. And, you know, Brandon, at the end of the day, Open Door was it was the best job I've ever had. It was a startup culture. You ping pong tables. Literally everything you've ever seen or heard about a startup, like it matched. It was an awesome culture to be in. But as an entrepreneur, man, what I've learned is that no matter how good the opportunity is, or how much you love a job or the people you're working with, man, there's always, always, always going to be a voice inside of your head telling you that you can get more, that you can have more, that you can go out and do more, and that you have the ability to create your dreams and not work for someone to create theirs.
Right.
And so, man, as hard as it was, that voice just became louder and louder and louder. as I worked there. And so I had to make the decision, man, to break off and just, like I said, chase after my own dreams, my own goals, my own financial freedom. And that's when we decided to establish Jay-Z Home Buyers. And man, things have, they've been taking off ever since, man. And our main goal here at Jay-Z is, strictly we're wholesaling right now. We're doing some owner financing things on the side, but really creating the systems and the processes to make sure that we have that inventory coming in consistently every single month. So eventually my long-term goal can come to fruition of being able to cherry pick those houses and ultimately create cash flow for myself and my family generation later on down the road, brother. So that's kind of the backstory of kind of where I started and where I ended up, man. And like I said, it's been the best decision I've ever made, and trying to just embrace the chaos and the entrepreneur life the best I can each and every day.
Yeah, no, that's it's pretty cool because actually we have somewhat similar stories. I was a dumbass kid, always causing trouble, and you finished your college, but I started college and didn't finish it. I never actually even applied to university. I had no interest in it, but I figured it's the path everybody goes. So I tried the community college route, and even then I kept dropping out of all my classes. And man, I remember if the class ended up getting too hard, I was like, peace, I'm out. I would just leave. And ultimately ended up having kids pretty young, and had to drop out of college all 100% to, get a real job and, for the kids that we had. I was 18 and already had two kids, 18, 19. So, so a little bit the same thing. And then I spent the next, 5-6 years just working for other people and hourly wage, just kind of barely scraping by. And then I bought my first business. Unfortunately, I didn't even read Rich Dad Poor Dad until, a couple of years ago, probably 2 years ago. Once I had already gotten my real estate license and thought being a realtor was my path to millions, but it turned out, for me anyways, was not. Um, just because primarily I just hated dealing with buyers that drive me freaking bonkers. But I had no idea you worked for Open Doors. Pretty badass, because that is, a lot of realtors and investors don't want to talk positive about Open Door, but dude, they freaking kill it. And their model is absolute genius. They've, from what I can tell, have they automated their offering platform or?
Yeah. So when I was there, man, the first, I'd say, year and a half, we were the valuation lead is what it was called. There's a team of 3 or 4 of us, and every single person that inquired, and Open Door, man, was doing, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of direct mail every single month, radio ads, every type of marketing you can imagine. And so it was just us, man. We were sending, there was one day I had to send 140 offers. So I valued 140 homes and sent them off and went about it that way. That's kind of just the startup mentality, man. Do whatever.
Crazy.
To get the job done. But now, man, when I left, they were about 70% fully automated on their valuation model. And so the thing with Open Door is, with any type of, newer builds or anything 2000 and above, these subdivisions that have a lot of the same builders, a lot of the same specs, same square footage, just like Zillow or Realtor.com or anything, they're very accurate on their valuations. But that extra 30%, man, with, what they're still trying to figure out, from my understanding, are those homes that are a little bit non-conforming to the neighborhood, that are unique, that have certain features, benefits that buyers either like or don't like, and being able to really justify how to go in there and establish what these individuals are saying about their home and make the proper offers. So it's a very unique model, man. And you're right. It's a lot of people don't like it because they look at them as kind of a disruptor, which, obviously they are in a sense, but at the same time, they're bringing technology and a streamless way to sell your home into the market. And like any startup, man, they've got a lot of kinks that they were working out, and I'm sure that they still are. But man, with any type of method where you're going to start from scratch and start a new concept, there's going to be trials and errors. But they've got, I think their Series E funding, man, or something like 300+ million to back them up. So they've got enough money to keep making those mistakes and correct them and make that, and they're spreading to markets all across the country. And so it was a very cool experience, man, to just be a part of that, learn the softwares, learn how they did everything, man. I mean, a lot of the things that I still use today, I'm not gonna lie, I got from Open Door, as far as the systems, the processes, how they went about weekly meetings, how they just handled everything and make sure everything was structured. It was such a blessing for me because I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. Like you're not a part of something like that. You have no idea how the operations are supposed to be run unless someone's teaching it to you.
Yep.
So I was able to learn that stuff, man, and kind of critique it, implement it into our own style here at JZ. And man, it's been awesome. But I owe a lot of, my success definitely to Open Door, man, and just the learning curve I had with them and, the people I was surrounding myself with and learned from while I was there, both from a personal level and a professional level, as well as leadership as well.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's pretty powerful, along with being taught by New Western. And as you obviously know, a lot of people look down on New Western, but they're just playing the market. I mean, there are people buying high, so why not sell high? Right. It's just a business model, and they perfected it. So that's awesome. Great learning platforms. So it's obviously helped in your adventure up, but you've implemented your own things and perfected it. So what are the things, because one of the reasons I started this thing was overcoming fears. And a lot of people fear getting the real estate for number one reason is fear of the unknown. Am I going to lose money? I don't know what I'm doing. Am I going to go bankrupt over my first deal? All these things. So what are the things that you ran into that you were like, oh crap, am I doing this right? Or, oh crap, I messed up big time. Yeah. Let's go through a couple of those.
Yeah. So for anyone listening, man, that's kind of on the fence about if they want to jump into, whether it's real estate or any venture for that reason. I know this podcast is structured around the pursuit of financial freedom. And for anyone that's just considering it, man, the biggest thing that's going to hold the majority of people back from my opinion, what I've seen, my own experience, man, is analysis paralysis.
Oh yeah.
Trying to literally become this professional without realizing that the only way to become a professional, Brandon, this is failing forward, is getting out there and figuring this stuff out by action, not by studying other people. Like, you want to become an expert and you want to be sharp on your craft and learn these things. But man, at the end of the day, if you're just sitting back behind a computer screen trying to figure things out, you're never gonna achieve anything. I mean, it's just the cold hard truth. And that's what I went through, man. I tried to learn everything about it. I thought every situation, well, what if this homeowner asks me this? Or what if this happens? Well, what if I don't know this? Or what about this? I mean, little itty bitty details, when at the end of the day, man, all I needed to think about was, feeling the fear and doing it anyways, and truly understanding that anybody that's going to achieve anything great is going to have uphill battles. I mean, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be difficult. And everyone who's been in my position and everyone that's been able to achieve what I've achieved or achieve what you've achieved, Brandon, is going to have to go through, that mindset change, because it all comes down to how you think. Do you believe in yourself? I mean, one thing that I constantly tell myself, man, is if one man or woman can do it, so can I. And if you have that deep rooted belief and you truly know that if you're taking a concept, a proven concept, and for me, it's been mentorship programs, man. I've been very particular about who I learned from, but I make sure that if I'm taking a concept, I'm learning from people that have proven success. Okay. You take that concept, and then the next step is action, commitment, committing yourself and understanding that this stuff isn't going to happen overnight. Like, this is going to take time. No success. There is no magic pill for any of this stuff, man. You're not going to get abs in 30 days by taking a shake. There's things like that. They just don't exist. And so for us, man, just being able to stay patient, knowing that, trusting in the process, and knowing that whenever we're uncomfortable, we're growing. That's one of the biggest parts of it. No one likes to be uncomfortable. It's a natural feeling that human beings don't like. But for us, you have to learn how to really just embrace being uncomfortable and understand that when that shows up in your life, that means that you're growing in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
And so for us, man, it really came down to understanding that we're going to make mistakes. We're going to mess up. But at the end of the day, we're going to take imperfect action. We're going to fail forward, and we're going to learn things by surrounding ourselves with the right people and always knowing that there's never a dumb question, and that if there's an opportunity out there, even if we don't know the answer, someone will. And that's been one of the biggest keys for us, man, is leaning towards the other, other giants that are in this industry, and taking their advice and trying to really just adapt to what they're telling us, and if not knowing the answer, just having that confidence that we can find it. As long as we're going in front of these homeowners and letting them know we're here to serve them and help them out in any way, and being genuine about it, we'll be able to find the solution for it, with having the right mindset, with like we just talked about, man, just feeling that fear and doing it anyways.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say too, is to this day, I won't buy a single house unless I've had at least one or two other of my friends comp the house.
Yep.
But what's unfortunate is, and I do that for mostly, generally I actually have, so I wholesale to primarily buddies of mine. We've sold a couple houses.
Right.
And so I'll have them comp it, like, hey, look at this house, comp it, it's in your area, and then we'll go from there. But also it's me just double checking my work. And I think a lot of people have, back to your analysis paralysis, is a lot of people are fearful to either ask other people to about questions, whether comps or rehab or processes of wholesaling. But one thing I noticed a lot and I still do a lot of networking, but when I used to go weekly to these big networking events around Dallas, was I'd see the same people in every single meeting, and months would pass and they hadn't done a deal yet. Or even brought a potential deal to anybody. And it was sad to see, because, there was just something they were battling in their own mind. And it could have been big things. Maybe they hadn't learned how to raise money yet, and so that was their barrier. Or it was something as simple as, well, who's going to buy this deal? Well, I mean, look around. The money and the deals are right here. But like I said, to this day, I'll comp, or I have other friends comp all my houses, every single one, before I offer, almost always. But yeah, you just got to take action. And I realized listening to you, you're a far better speaker than I am. So you're going to end up being in Wholesaling Inc., being one of their speakers one of these days. Mark my words.
I appreciate that, man.
It's going to happen.
Brandon.
Right.
I'm going to send this part to them so they can keep that in their back pocket for future reference.
Right. And this recording doesn't show me where we are in the recording, but I would say somewhere around 20 minutes. So you can find it.
Yeah, man. Let's I know with your listeners, I'm huge, and I know you are too, man. This is the reason you started this podcast. I want to, give you guys kind of the meat and potatoes of what our business is surrounded on, what we're doing that's working, and ultimately, allow other people that are in the real estate space to, to be able to take and implement in their business to see if it can work for them as well, man. So if you're down, I'd love to talk a little bit more about that as well, kind of going in on, what we're doing here in the Dallas-Fort Worth market, as you and everyone else knows that's an investor around here, is super competitive.
Yep.
And what we're doing to try to, stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, let's hear it. Because I get a lot of messages weekly. Is like, what marketing is working? I'm like, well, all of it. And then which ones are you doing? I'm like, well, all of it. And so I'd love to hear what everybody else is doing, because it's hard for me personally to really pick a special or a specific niche to market to, whether that be cold calling, direct mail, voicemail, texting.
Yeah.
And so I love to see what other people are doing. And I would bet that's probably the number one concern with any entrepreneurs. Where's my next lead going to come from?
Absolutely.
Whether it's a new client, buyer, seller, everything. So yeah, I'd love to. Let's dive into it, man.
Yeah. And going back to what you said, man, I mean, you can have all the information you want and you can have all the systems you want, but at the end of the day, if you don't have those leads coming in, it's all irrelevant, right? So, I mean, lead generation is something that I have spent majority of my time learning to try to really streamline on our end. And so kind of give you a breakdown of our model. So we do very, very, very few direct mail.
Really?
Yeah. And I know that's super counterintuitive, just because really anywhere you go, they do work. I get that, man. But with us, what I've really focused on with our company is going straight to the consumer. And we do that and we still do direct mail, Brandon. I mean, when we're going about a direct mail list, it's going to be very niche list. So I have my VA, every lead that we get coming in, they're pulling the actual address and going on appraisal district and pulling the primary address, also known as where this individual lives. And if it's different, he's segmenting those leads to another tab. I use Google spreadsheets, and he's segmenting those leads to where if they are an absentee owner, we can target those individuals and really hit those first, and also direct mail them as well.
Yep.
But yeah, with that, man, with our direct mail, we're doing, we'll do probate out of state or absentee owners, very niche lists like absentee in state or any absentee out of state that we pull from list source and things like that. But our main ingredient with our company, man, comes from two sources. One, TTP, also known as Talking to People. It's a program that we got from Brent Daniels, and it's been just truly game changing for us, man. It teaches you, the Mojo software, being able to get on there, the triple line dialer and all that, and being able to set up the process, how to go through and really prospect these individuals. Because at the moment, we've got 2 phone prospectors that are virtual working for us. And it all comes down to making sure we're not wasting our times on people that really aren't ready to sell. And so that course for us, man, really allowed us to learn how to ask the right questions, get down to the bottom of everything, and make sure that this is a homeowner that either needs or wants to do business with us now or in the future. That they show anything at all about even wanting to sell, in the next 12 months or so. You can better believe we're adding them to our CRM, and we're nurturing them every single month to make sure that we're staying in front of them with emails, with text messaging, and with a phone call to ensure that when they are ready to sell, we're going to be the ones that are at least going to be an option for them.
Yep.
So TPP, which is just, at the end of the day, cold calling, man. That's what it is. We're reaching out directly to these individuals, and we use a skip tracing service. And as you know, and any investor that knows about skip tracing, it's all about the quality of the leads you're getting in. You want to make sure that when you're putting in these addresses, you're getting reputable numbers that are coming back out to you, so you can call the actual person pertaining to that property. And so we use a skip tracing service called LexisNexis,
Okay. Yeah.
also known as Accurint, ACCURINT. And man, it's been a true blessing for us. We have batch processing, so we're able to load several hundred or several thousand leads in at a time, and it comes out to be, I think, around like 30 cents, just below 30 cents per lead, which is a little high, man, but I'm willing to pay that just because some of these others that are offering 5 cents, man, you call them and you're not getting the person that you think you're supposed to be talking to, 70, 80% of the time. And so with us, this LexisNexis, man, has been a total game changer. And then from there, every lead we get in, Brandon, so we're putting them through our Mojo system and making sure that our phone prospectors are following up in priority of certain leads. And then from there, we're text messaging every single individual that we get as well. So every phone number we receive, we're also text messaging individuals through a software called Roar, ROOR. And it's pretty much, man, it's a super new software, but it is really, really, really easy to use. I mean, we've got a few scripts, and then we've got our VA that's going in there handling all those. And whenever he goes through and it looks like a motivated prospect, he's immediately putting that lead into our CRM for us, so one of our acquisition guys can follow up right then and there. So for us, man, at the end of the day, direct mailing, it does work. But how I look at it is, these homeowners, man, they're getting 10 to 15 pieces a month, typically, on average.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you look at the phone calls and you look at the text messaging, most people either love and respect being on the phone, or they absolutely hate being on the phone talking to someone. And so we reach out through cold calling to make sure we can capitalize on those ones that do like to talk on the phone. And then we hit everyone with the text message as well, for those people that are a little bit hesitant and don't really want to talk on the phone, but are still willing to kind of give us that information we need so we can take appropriate action afterwards and go about it that way. So it's really about just knowing people and how they react to certain things, knowing what a lot of people want out of communication styles, and hitting all lanes of it. I mean, that's really the gist of what we're focusing on, man. And, cold calling and the text messaging, I truly believe, and especially for anyone looking to get into flipping or wholesaling, in my personal opinion, Brandon, I think it is the two marketing channels that everyone should be in. It's most cost effective. And in my opinion, from my experience, it's been the most effective as well.
Yeah. What, okay, you got the cold calling you use through Mojo, which is through TTP. What platform you use for texting? I use Livecom.
Yeah, Livecom's great, man. That's Mitch Stevens' program out of San Antonio, right?
Yep, sure is, yeah.
Yeah. Mitch is an awesome guy. I actually bought his owner finance course not too long ago.
Nice.
To dive into that, but yeah, we use a software called Roar.
Oh, right, you said that, yeah.
Yeah, and man, what it is, let me ask you this: do you know how much you're paying, like, per text message?
I have no idea, honestly. It's very, very little. If you gave me a minute, I could find it, but
Around like 5 cents, you think?
I think it's around 10 cents, honestly.
So Roar is a 1 cent per text message.
Wow.
Yeah, and so you're able to respond to these individuals, man. And for us, you can throttle it up and send as many as you want per hour, buy as many numbers as you want.
Yep.
And what we've done is we've routed these numbers that we have in Roar to our call rail. For those that don't know what call rail is, it's pretty much a phone dialer software where if you have direct mail or bandit signs or any phone number, you can send that to that number to where it either gets sent to a direct mail or a voicemail, or it gets sent out to your team, depending on what you want to go with it. And so everyone that calls these numbers, we have a phone tree set up whenever we're texting them. So, hey, this is Justin with Jay-Z Home Buyers. You probably got a text message from us. Look, we don't want to waste your time or bug you by any means. So we're actually just looking to purchase a house in your area. So if you are interested, please go ahead and press 1. And if you're not interested, we promise not to ever bother you again, and go ahead and press 2. And then from there, man, the ones that press 2 get sent off in CallRail, and they have a tag that comes up that says take off, and we'll just take them off of our list. The ones that press 1 come in and get sent to our simulcall, which allows them to reach out to, one of 4 people on our team to answer it. Pretty much the first person to answer it gets to take the lead.
Yeah.
Nice. And so, yeah, that's been really effective for us, man. I mean, with Mojo too, we have it set up to where those numbers we're calling from get sent directly to voicemail with a very similar voicemail on that end, to ensure, because if you're answering those and bringing those live to your team, I mean, you're looking at hundreds and hundreds of calls they're having to answer out, probably with some of them being fairly pissed off on a daily basis. And so we have that filtering process in place to make sure that we can concentrate on the ones that want to do business with us. And then also we can take action and not bug the other ones that don't want to do business with us, and giving them the option to choose which route they want to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I get, so I do ringless voicemail, text messaging, and the cold calling, and my ringless isn't going anywhere. And I ended up, I haven't bought anything out of my text messaging yet, but it actually works pretty well. But I get some heated responses, some pretty heated responses in like my probate list. Man, some people go way out of their way to either call you or send you mail back to your place. And I get it, but man, do you do this for like Sears when they send you mail too? And Capital One? It's like, geez.
Yeah. And the thing is, I wish these people could just see that we're in a position of trying to serve them. Like, we're wanting to help them out with this situation. And what does with probate, man, what we've had to really focus on is not coming to them, letting them know about the situation, just saying, hey, records show that you may own a home in, XYZ area. That way. And it's been a lot more effective for us, instead of just sending them, information about our company. And the next thing you know, you've got 10 negative reviews on your Google business page. So we're trying to definitely steer clear from that, man. But RBM, how's that been working for you so far?
Well, it hasn't. So we, at one point we were cold calling, throwing slide broadcast RVM out, and then live comm texting. But then we incorporated Mojo, which auto sends the voicemails if they don't pick up. So they've gone nowhere. But I'm not sure why. And I think a lot of it, and you saw my post the other day, is I would guess it goes back to my callers. They're just not in it. The motivation isn't there. So I've given them financial motivations that, if they bring a deal that I buy, I'll give them a few $100, and a few $100 in the Philippines is like, it's like a home run for them. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
and it's stepped up a little bit, but nothing's come of it yet. But back to the ringless voicemail, um, it's never worked, actually. I don't think I've ever gotten a response from ringless voicemail, because at one point before I got to VAs, I was doing it. And so I was going into my list, skip tracing, and then sending out a few hundred of those a day, and never really got a positive feedback or response back. In the text messaging, I'll probably get a response a day right now. Um, Probably up to 2 to 5 responses a day, whether it's stop texting me, burn in hell, or hey, go talk to my realtor or something, So the texting definitely works, but I just think that's the world we live in, is people respond to their text messages better than voicemail.
Definitely,
And
man.
yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, when we were in Asheville, Brandon, it was such a trend because that Wholesaling Inc. conference we went to in Asheville, North Carolina, I bet, we probably had 20 speakers, and out of those 20, I bet 10 to 12 of them were saying how ringless voicemails have been the game changer of their business, but then
Really?
I've heard from other people that truly they don't work at all. So it's kind of hard to adjust. It may just be, market by market, depending on the scenario you're in.
Yeah.
But I do foresee a future with ringless voicemails to where I see them becoming eliminated. I don't think they'll be legal in a few years, to be entirely honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm guessing that too, especially at this whole election thing we went through with everybody getting, I was getting probably 7 text messages a day from these freaking people. And
These guys need to be real estate agents, man. They'd kill it.
seriously. So I think after this election, and kind of just where the spamming world is going, as people call it, they'll eliminate the voicemail soon.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree, man.
do you send emails out, cold emails? I know that's regulated, so I don't do it, but I know some people are like, well, I'll just wait till I get caught. So you
Yeah,
send out
so
any emails?
the beautiful thing about Roar is, man, is it has a blacklist option for every time you send text messaging. And what this does is it allows you, anyone that's ever like complained or taken the extra step, and the people out there, man, they're all over the place that just want to take this individual down that called them to just see if they could serve them in some way with real estate. They'll go above and beyond to try and destroy their lives. But
Mm-hmm.
those people that do that, there's a very awesome function in Roar where you can click this button called blacklist, and anyone that's ever filed a complaint, do not call list, is completely taken out of it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a huge benefit. And also within Roar, man, there's ringless voicemails, and they're also, right around 1 cent or less than 1 cent per one. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop for everything.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. And it's super cheap, man. And it's a very new software. And so, get grandfathered in. If anyone's interested in that, reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to introduce you guys. It's been a game changer for us, and the interface on it's super easy to use as well. So, but yeah, that's definitely been the game changer for us, man. We've jumped into, getting our voicemail set up for ringless voicemail, but now after hearing that, I'm kind of hesitant, to say the least.
Yeah, no, that's cool. The ringless voicemail is garbage for me, but like my post the other day is my cold prospecting, aside from direct mail, hasn't been going so well. So I'm looking to revamp everything,
Yeah.
and I'm probably going to end up bringing my callers back into the U.S. because my team out in the Philippines are doing it right now. But what's your take on? Because you see, you got two things that you do that are that work well for you. Do you do bandit signs or door hangers, or anything else like that, or is it something else?
Yeah, man. So we've got a guy that drives for dollars for us, and he's also
Nice.
a pastor. And so what I do, and with me being a realtor, I'm able to jump in and really kind of filter out my criteria on the MLS and say, okay, let's see all the properties throughout Johnson, Denton, Dallas, Tarrant, Parker County, all the counties we're really focusing on that are, let's say, at least 2 bedrooms, at least 1.5 bath, between 1900 to 1999 build,
Mm-hmm.
and that have, the equity and everything else already in there, that where it's going to make sense for us. And you can also go in there and filter it out based on the cash sales in those areas as well. And so that's how we've been going about it, man. We've been pretty much screenshotting those locations and having our guy go out and drive those areas, take them down. From there, he takes that list and sends it to our VA through an app called WhatsApp. Our VA is based out of Pakistan, and then he goes in, puts it into our Google spreadsheet, and then from there, we're able to upload that spreadsheet into our skip tracer and take the appropriate action from a cold calling standpoint with Mojo and then our text messaging. And so for anyone that's if they don't have the money or the setback, I'm telling you right now, the best way in the world to get started in this business is to drive for dollars.
Really?
Absolutely, Brandon.
Good deal.
It is truly, it's what caused us to vamp up and get to where we were in the time that we were able to get it, and learn how to do it, learn how to create the criteria, and then get on Facebook, man, go to some group postings, have a nice little photo and say, hey, do you like driving? You want to make some money part-time? Post it on there. You're going to be amazed by how many people will be willing to do this for you. Have some checks and balances in place, make them know that you're going to be checking these houses, and make sure they know the criteria they're looking for. And when you're driving for dollars, man, what we do is we segment our list. So what I mean by that is we have a certain driving for dollars list, which means the house is run down at all. We're going to go in there and we're going to put that house down. So if it's got chip paint all across the house, but it looks livable, we're still going to put that down. Now, what we also do is if these houses are super run down, the grass is high, the mail is overloaded, this thing looks vacant, we put what's called just an asterisk, the little star next to that. And so we have our VA segment those as well in our Google Sheets. We've got our driving for dollars list and we've got our asterisk list. And so those asterisk lists, you can believe that we're direct mailing them and we're hitting those first above everything else, because those are going to be the hottest leads by far.
Oh yeah.
And we have these driver, if he's driving 3, 4, 5 hours a day, we're getting 500 to 1,000 leads a day, man. So like anyone can do that. It's a super cheap way to do it. We did it all of ourselves starting out. We cold call ourselves. We text messaged ourselves. We did everything ourselves. And then as any entrepreneur, anyone doing this business, you'll start realizing, man, time is money. And so you have to, when you're going through those motions, learn it yourself so you can be a teacher, and then learn how to set up a system and process just to delegate it out. And then from there, you just continue to do that. What's the next step? Okay, I don't like doing this admin. Okay, find someone, a VA, to do the admin. I mean, these people are out there. There's families that are benefiting tremendously, just like you said, man, in the Philippines, from all services, man. Like they're truly able to put food on their family's plate to help them out. And what stood out to me more than anything, in the conference we were at, Brandon, people kept saying, my VAs are failing. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And this dude, his name is Max Maxwell. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Yeah.
Absolute, stud, man. He's an awesome guy too. And he pretty much said, look, if your VAs are failing, what that means is you're failing as a coach.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, you set those up, you learn how to make training videos on your computer, and you have them shadow you on how you're doing it. And then you shadow them on how they're doing it, man. And then boom, that work you're putting in allows you to delegate this stuff out, man. And that is truly the name of the game, especially from a financial freedom pursuit that we're talking about here with any business. Yeah.
That's what changed my life I don't know if you know Connor Steinbrook, but we were on a cruise in January, an investor cruise, and he was one of the speakers, and I had never met him before. He invited me to the cruise, but I had never met him in person. So he's up there speaking, and he starts talking about VAs. And like, man, I keep hearing these VAs from, like the guy that started Propelio, Daniel, he would talk about VAs. And now Connor's talking about VAs. Everybody's talking about VAs. And then Connor's telling us what he does with his VAs. I'm like, holy crap. Genius. And so then I was like, and then it was that fear thing set in. Well, if I don't know how to train them, I don't know how to record videos, I don't know how to do this. And then one day I was like, damn it, I'm just going to record a video and just see where it freaking goes. Okay. So I just started doing a screen recording, and I got a guy off of Upwork to do some stuff for me, some data scrubbing and to input my mailers into Click to Mail. And now I've got probably 20 training videos, and it's about the easiest dang thing there is out there to do. I mean, the processes that you were doing at your own computer literally can be mimicked by anybody. I mean, if not better. They'll, like, my VAs constantly are like, well, why are you doing that? Why don't you just do it this way? Like, for example, when I started having a cold call, I just assumed you're going to use whatever system they had in their office, whether a hard line or some VoIP number.
Right.
And they ended up using Skype, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever, use Skype. But then I didn't know there was this huge lag time. They're like, hey, Brandon, you should really think about getting Mojo. I was like, nah, blah, 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 blah. So I finally got Mojo, and they started doing twice as many phone calls. I was like, holy crap. So there's just those little mindset things where
Yes.
not only is it easy to train them, but they could probably do it better and tell you how to do it better. So that's what I learned with VAs. And I used to stay up till 2 a.m. getting all this crap done. And now I go to bed 10, 11, 12. Yeah. With no anxiety. And I just spent the previous 3 hours with my kids playing board games or watching movies. So the VA's really, really freed up my time.
It's incredible, man. So like, I challenge anyone listening to this, if you have, no matter what business it is, man, you create that content, because at the end of the day, let's say you've got, for our industry, Brandon, a transactional coordinator that you are training in-house on how to do the steps of A to Z, how to send the emails, how to make sure they're following up, how to make sure they're getting the earnest deposit, the option money, everything's sent off to the right place and sending it to the right people. And then that lady out of nowhere, 6 months down the road, she gets very good at what she's doing, and then she quits, right? Or she has a better opportunity.
Yep.
If you don't have training content in place, what do you have to do for the next one? You're going to have that anxiety. You're not going to be able to sleep at night because you're going to have to do everything from the start, and it's going to be a rough beginning. But if you have those videos and you have, let's say, a paper doc in place with just a clear outline, dude, these people, you can sleep at peace at night because if this person's worthy of it, they're going to be able to watch this stuff and some minor tweaking, get it down in no time because you've already done the hard work.
Yep. Yeah. That's another reason. Hopefully I never have to deal with anybody quitting on me, but like you said, it's easy peasy for somebody to step right on in and take their position because you've already got everything. All you do is just copy paste your Google Drive link and be like, hey, watch this video. Exactly. This is your new task.
It's beautiful, man. Once I learned about just the VAs and how to truly outsource them, and you got to find a good one, man. There's so many out there. That's the thing.
Yep.
Most people are scared on if they can find one. You can find them. They're everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Set up checks and balances. Have 3 steps. If you want to do this, you want to be my work. Here's step 1. Boom. Here's step 2. Here's step 3. And then only interview the ones that have completed the first 3 steps. Make it easy on yourself. And those people that are willing to commit to those 3 steps that you put out, I promise they're going to be rock stars for you at the end of the day. There's a very good chance of it.
Yeah. I would just proof them because the first task I had them do was simple. They'd go into Propelio, grab the CSV file out of there, and then import it into Click to Mail, where I already had the postcards developed and I already had the credit card on file. So for a week, I was like, go here, do this, import it, set it, put it in the cart. I'll go in, verify the proofs, and then I'll send them out. So after a week of making sure they did every step right and were able to do the mail merging properly, I was like, all right, you don't need to put in the cart anymore. Just go ahead and throw it in the cart and hit submit. and so now, now I get daily updates of every single call they've made, every voicemail, do not call number, fax number, what list they mailed, what new data they scrubbed, everything. It's freaking beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing. You can structure it how you want. That's the cool thing. Like you structure it how you want and do the hard work up front, knowing that it's going to free up so much time, man. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing once you're able to use VAs, and knowing it gives me a lot of pride, and I'm sure it does you too, Brandon. Like you're truly creating a huge impact to these individuals. You give a VA a few $100 bonus for what they're doing, like that's big time, man, especially where they're at. It's big time. And so I get a lot of pride by doing that, knowing that I'm not only just helping an individual, but I'm helping a family as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, that reminds me of another thing is we hear a lot of complaining between investors and contractors, how we're all getting screwed back and forth. And I'm like, just treat each other with respect and things will go round robin. Like my guys, when he gives me a bid on something and although I may feel it's a couple $100, I'm like, all right, go ahead and do it. And then now we've gotten to a point where, like on my last flip, we were 2 weeks in, the house was complete, and I already had it on the market before he asked for $1 from me because we built this relationship of trust.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of these contractors, like, no, man, I need 50% up front. And that's the way me and this guy started. In the beginning, he was like, all right, there's an $18,000 bid. I need $6,000 or $8,000 or whatever it was now.
Right.
I'm like, all right, well, here's your money. And I just had to pray that this guy would show up the next day.
Yeah.
And so now it's just like he's going to every single house, and he's typically a week or two in before he even asks for a dollar because we've built that relationship. But yeah, and I enjoy paying it because they got family, they have employees, they've got bills. I mean, everything. So yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. It's a sense of uh, like giving back and making sure that everybody's
Yeah.
be
Pride.
happy.
It's a
Yeah,
lot of pride for sure.
yeah,
The thing is, and you just brushed up on it, hit it on the head, man. Like this whole business is relationships. It is. I mean, I preach that so much to people, man. You have to be able to build relationships and genuinely go out of your way to help people, regardless of what's in it for you. And that's
yep,
hard for a lot of people to take in, man. But one of the most powerful laws in the universe, in my opinion, is called the law of reciprocity.
yep,
Truly giving to other people and not really expecting anything in return, but knowing that law will take care of itself with them wanting to give back to you in the future. Usually them giving back more than what you gave them to begin with. I mean, there's studies on that stuff, man. There's a book, Robert Cialdini, I think his name is, I can't remember the exact name, called Influence. And it talks about that, shows life examples of like the law of reciprocity and how powerful it is. And you can do that in any business. And how we implement it, Brandon, is like, with these individuals, if we're talking to them and their kid is a baseball player or anything like that, and we have an appointment, you can bet that we're going to be getting baseball cards or something like that and bringing it with us for giving them a gift, regardless if they decide to sell their home to us or not. Or thank you cards, man. We have customized Jay-Z homebuyer thank you cards where we write in there handwritten responses. I mean, little stuff like that, man, exceeds the expectations. And with older homeowners, I mean, it stands out and allows you to stand out above the crowd. I mean, all day, every day.
yeah. That's awesome. I thought about doing that, and it's just one of those things on my to-do list is sending thanks for having me over, thanks for letting me look at your house type of cards, even if they never call me back or I never hear from them again. It's just that, that guy that came to my house wasn't really an a-hole. He was actually kind of cool, but I ended up getting a better offer somewhere else. So, yeah, that's on my to-do list to do. I'm glad to hear somebody else is doing that. It's pretty cool.
That's the print, man, is where we got ours. Are super easy to make. You just drag and drop your logo in there, man, and order them up. I mean, just
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was on Vistaprint the other day trying to figure out cool new stuff to send out, and I forget what I was trying to do. I don't know. I was trying to think of some. I forget what it was now, but I was on there trying to think of new creative marketing designs, and that's awesome. So you just do like a birthday card type of thing, and you just you ship like 1,000 to your place. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, man. They come with like the little envelopes and everything. You just throw a stamp on there and write the address, dude, and you're good to go. And just write them out to every homeowner you go see. Or if you talk to a homeowner, another thing, if they sound very motivated but they're hesitant, they've got a barrier to get you out of the house, write them a card. Say thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. Regardless of what you do, I would absolutely love to be an option for you whenever you're ready and the time's right. And I'm telling you, man, that type of stuff, the little stuff goes so far.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I was going to speak about my meetup, but if I keep talking about the meetup, we might, I might actually be late to my own meetup. So, so we got cold calling, we got skip tracing, the law of reciprocity. We've gone over everything, or at least I feel we've gone over a lot, and a lot of content has been dished out here. What are your future endeavors and goals? I mean, what can we do to help you achieve those goals here as the fearless fans?
Yeah, I really appreciate you asking me that. So my goal, Brandon, I think everyone has to have a why for doing what they're doing, especially being an entrepreneur. If you don't, whenever hard things happen, which they always will, you'll get knocked down. So your why always has to allow you to power through. And my why, man, to be honest with you, as cliche as it sounds, is to positively impact millions of people, and having real estate be my platform to get me to that point in life.
Yep.
And so for me, I want to connect. I want to network. I want to really be able to add value to anyone that I can help out. And I honest to God mean that. I said it on, when I was on the Wholesaling podcast, had a lot of people reach out, and I've gone out of my way to help them, man. I love that stuff, because I think at the end of the day, you got to live in that mindset of abundance and know that there's opportunity for everybody out there.
Yep.
So for you guys, man, I mean, just, reach out to me. Let's connect. Let's get launched, man. Let's network and figure out how we can help each other, and serve each other and brainstorm on business ideas. That's my biggest goal, is just to keep surrounding myself with the Eagles of the world, man, and level up every day I can, because at the end of the day, you're only as good as those people you surround yourself with. So I just want to continue surrounding myself with awesome people, man, and help as many people as I can along this journey. And that pretty much sums it up right there, brother.
Yeah. Same for me. That's why we spoke briefly on before, but me and Corey started a meetup, and it was essentially just a lot of us people that end up having a pretty big social presence tend to have a lot of people reach out, especially those with a go-giver mindset like yourself, Corey, and I. But me and Corey were always getting all these requests to sit down and have lunch with people, and it got to a point where I was having several of these lunches a week. And although I like doing it, it became quite burdensome to make all these appointments and not be rude and push people off for weeks. And so I went up to Corey. I was like, man, why don't we just have a lunch a couple times a month and just put it on Facebook? Hey, me and Corey, we're chilling over here at this restaurant, wherever. And if you show up, we'll talk business. And it turned out to be pretty big. So it's pretty cool. It's going to be an unsponsored deal. This first one, we're just going to have it's a lunch in Garland. And man, we got like 40 RSVPs, the very first one. So it's pretty exciting. A lot of newbies are coming out, a lot of realtors, a lot of new wholesalers. And it's pretty cool. So I think the next one, because a lot of the concerns are, well, where do I get started? And then how do I evaluate this rehab? So the next one's going to be, hey, we just bought this house. We'll be here at 11 a.m. Show up and we'll show you how we evaluated this rehab. And I think it'll make waves in the real estate world for people that want to learn how to do this business the right way. Just to swing by and get some free knowledge and hang out with some cool people.
Definitely, man. And anyone listening to this, go and surround yourself with the Brandon Richards and the Corey Moody's of the world, like people that truly have the best intentions. They're not here. A lot of people hear about this industry, man, being a cutthroat industry. There's good golden eggs all throughout this industry, and people like Corey and Brandon, who truly, they're not trying to sell you on anything. They're wanting to legitimately help volumes of people, because they're busy guys as well. And like you said, Brandon, y'all can't just have lunches and meetings every single day, all day, with all these people that want to connect. And so anyone listening to this, I highly encourage, surround yourself with those guys, learn from them, and know they've got the absolute best intentions that are out there. So definitely pumped to join that as well, Brandon, and come see you guys here soon.
Yeah, no, we'd love to have you out. Well, aside from not want to take up too much of your time, that meeting is in 50 minutes and we got a 40-minute drive. So I got to wrap it up here pretty quick, but love to have you back on and talk about more of both of our adventures and just BS and just see where it goes and help learn or teach people and have other people learn from our mistakes and such. But appreciate you coming on. If anybody wants to reach out to you, where can they do that or how?
Yeah, man. So you can reach out to me. I get on Facebook still. A lot of my stuff's integrated through Instagram. So you can Instagram at Justin Chandler Peters, or just shoot me an email at justin@jzhomebuyers.com.
All right. I'll write that down. I'll put it down in the show notes. Homebuyers.com.
Facebook message too, man. That always works.
Yep. Cool. All right, man. I appreciate it. Look forward to having you back on in the future, learn and see where you're going. And thanks for sharing your knowledge, man. Appreciate it.
Keep up the impact, Brandon. Appreciate it, brother. Enjoyed it.
Thanks a lot.
All right, man.
Catch you later.